Hello, I am Britt Shannon, and this is In Search of She. And so I really want to share some revelations that I have had about myself and people in general recently, even though that sounds very broad. So I have recently revisited this whole Myers-Briggs personality typing system. And I first did this when I was back in undergrad and college. I had to do it for, I don't know, an educational or psychology class. I did it, found out my type, and blew it off. I just did it for the assignment, and I didn't really read it in depth too much, and I don't think I was as self-aware back then, so I wouldn't even have known if it really did apply or not. And now I have revisited it, and oh my gosh. Is all I have to say. Because I knew my type already. I retook the test again just to make sure it was still accurate. Maybe these things change, maybe they don't. I just wanted to make sure, who I was then is the same personality I am now. Turns out it is. And I'm still an INFP. So I'm like, let's Google this and just see if this is going to help me any which way, shape, or form. Because I definitely believe that there are so many things in this world that can help you that, at first glance may seem a little out there, but when you really get to read them and truly study them, you realize, hey, this could help me. And so I was Googling INFP. And there's actually a bunch of really cool YouTubers who have tons of information on them. And I'll have to link them below because I'll say, high five, amen. Eric Thor, Lex Morningstar, thank you. Oh, and Personality Hacker. So here I am on Google and on YouTube. And I'm like, let's get some information on the INFP. Maybe this will help. Turns out it's one of the rarer types, and this world this country, the United States, is predominantly an ESTJ personality. And I am the polar opposite, an INFP. Okay. That explains a lot. And so I'm searching further. I'm like, well, what exactly is an INFP like, And other types are like the commander, the sergeant. They're essentially in charge. They're essentially in charge and go-getters and earth changers, I feel, and tradition keepers. And I'm the fairy. What am I supposed to do with that? You've got to be kidding me. How is that gonna help? I'm in great company though. Looney Lovegood from Harry Potter is an INFP. Yep, she is. But in looking at it further, once I got over that, oh my gosh, feeling, I realized that it really seems to apply. And it also made me understand that the way I go about things, that most people absolutely do not do this. At all. I kind of feel it out. And when I was making my decision for my major in college, it was like, let me look for the signs. Somewhere there is a sign that is going to speak to my soul and tell it the direction to go. And they were there. What do you know? For me, at least. And, you know, it's understanding that the way I go about things is right for me. And it may not be right for anybody else. And most likely, most people will not understand. But for me, it is the right way to just emotionally feel my way through things. And in all honesty, it's very much like being a mystic, right? Where you feel and just seem to know things and the direction to go in, and the world speaks to you through signs and coincidences and unknowing people. And apparently, not everybody feels this or has this in their life. And for me, it was just my way of making it through this world, you know? And to see it written down and spoken of was amazing. Suddenly, I feel that there's like a roadmap of how I can navigate this world. And in being an INFP, it also explains a lot of things. Like, they say that Johnny Depp is an INFP, and he's one of my favorite actors. And J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter, is INFP. Wow, Harry Potter is awesome. And Kurt Cobain was an INFP. Who else? Oh, I forgot. What was an INFP? I googled it. Hold on, let me remember this. Famous INFP. Oh, Shakespeare. Oh, in fact, on top of this, so it turns out that a lot of the amazing poets out there are actually INFPs. And it even turns out my favorite poet, Edgar Allan Poe, that I've loved since I was a kid, is an INFP. It just like makes so much sense why I'm drawn to these certain people and creatives now. So I definitely think if you don't know your type, it would be so helpful to go and either Google it, look up these YouTubers that I'm linking down below, because it helps so much. And it's given me now this confidence to go forth as I am going forth now. And to know that for me, my hustle is going to look different from other people's hustle. My hustle isn't necessarily going to be super late nights with like, you know, the entire year planned out, and this is how I'm going to get from step A to B to C. It's just going to be probably this big idea in my head that I'm going to kind of make up as I go along, and that I'm going to follow it by the way I feel about it and the way that just feels right at the moment, and by what I'm inspired by and what I can take in. And it's also very nice to understand that my personality, well, first, that there's other people out there like this, and two, that it's maybe okay to be very introverted and to be completely awkward and unaware of my surroundings, which is or seems to be one of the main things with INFPs, because I feel that I have the uncanny ability to go into social situations and make everybody feel awkward. A little bit of awkwardness for you, just a little bit for you, boom, and voila! Psych! suddenly everybody feels uncomfortable and I'm sitting there like, huh? What? What's going on? And that's just the way it's gonna be. I can try and change it, but it's like, that's just not my talent. That's not my superpower. I really admire and kind of envy people who can go into social situations and everybody just loves them because they're charming and they're just charismatic. That would be great. In all honesty, nobody really wants to be quirky, like truly quirky. Nope. Another thing that I have learned from INFP research is that in addition to being probably socially unaware of the situations, is that you are also unaware of your environment. This, for sure, when I read this or heard it, that's true. So one of the things that I remember in my head that has yet to leave me was when I was interested in doing landscape architecture once upon a time before I went to master's. Before I went to school to get my master's in landscape architecture, when I was just trying to apply and get to know the professors ahead of time, I walked in with my then boyfriend, who is now my husband, and we were walking in the hallway to one of the professor's offices that was one of the heads of the department for landscape architecture. And my husband, then boyfriend, was like, look, you just need to walk in, talk to her, and, she'll get to know your face, get to know you, and you'll have a leg up in getting in. And I'm like, there is no way I can do this. And so I'm here sitting, literally standing in front of her office. And she, mind you, she doesn't know me, walks into her office past me. And I'm like, hi. And then my husband walks in behind her and sits down and starts talking with her in her office. And I'm just like, outside of the office, like, oh gosh, I can't do this. I can't go in and talk to her. And then I mustered up the courage, got myself together, walked in through the door. Somehow my hand, I don't know what, it has a mind of its own, but it accidentally brushed her phone off of her desk, and her phone fell on the floor, broke into two pieces, and I sat down in a very awkward, hello, my name is, and introduced myself after that long, awkward pause where she knew I was standing in front and outside of her door, and I introduced myself. And it was an awkward situation, but somehow, luckily, she, I don't know, she liked me enough to maybe see the potential, and she ended up becoming my thesis advisor. So, what do you know? But it's these sorts of awkward encounters where I realize that that's just not going to be me. I'm just going to walk into situations and be awkward. But at the same time, while I bring a lot of awkwardness, I do bring a lot of empathy, which, again, I thought everybody was the same way. I think for me, it's been more of life's bruises and beatings that have taught me that you just need to have a little bit of kindness and compassion for everybody, because everybody at the end of the day is just trying, right? We all want something. We're all striving for something. We all want to be loved in some way. And no matter what, you have to recognize that in the next person. And so I feel like I can very much understand that and feel that even when somebody else is on the other side of an argument or on the other side of truth. Sometimes I feel that even though I may not agree with them at all, that I could also understand maybe where they're coming from because of the situations that molded them and maybe their reaction or their perspective or understanding of it. So I've also grown to understand that about myself and how that is and can be my superpower. And so for right now, I am just taking all of this new information in and just trying to apply it and tweak and fix those parts and things in me that could be better and could help me to be a more whole, a more realized version of an INFP, because I see a lot of the dark sides and the shadow sides in myself, which is when I don't allow myself to be that person, to be the fairy, the healer, this kind of mystic, and be confident in it and know that that is my superpower. When I'm not that, it's like I'm the opposite. I'm trying to control everything, but the reasoning behind it is not coming from a good or sane place that is well thought out. And I'm trying to be controlling when that really is not me at all. I'm very much, hey, let's go with the flow and see what life and what beautiful things come our way. And so I really want to work on that and to tweak that, and but also to understand that shadow side of me and to be able to sense it, that when it comes creeping up on me, I know, okay, I need to step back and give myself more time, or just be confident in the way I am viewing something and know and have the wisdom to realize that most people are not going to see it that way. This is just not an INFP world, or at least not an INFP country. And one thing I find very interesting too is that a lot of the popular or celebrity INFPs, they seem to be very much in conflict all the time with themselves. And maybe it's just that they have found their outlet to express the depth and shades of feeling in a creative way that they just could not get out in an interview or through words. And they have found a creative, maybe musical or theatrical or artistic outlet to let it out, where we can see this constant turmoil and conflict. And maybe that's what I'm seeing, but I think that is a marker for me to know that it is always not going to look put together, and that maybe my color in this world, my shade that I paint with, may not necessarily be the most popular shade. It might not necessarily be the most comfortable one. It might be one that challenges other people to think differently and to feel differently and to uncover things that most do not want to tap into, but they know deep down is there. And maybe I need to feel comfortable in that and to know that that's okay. And in its own way, that still is beautiful. It may not be beautiful in the normal sense, in the sense that everybody aspires to be, but it's still beautiful in all its eccentricities. And I'm just gonna have to accept that. So, are there any other fellow INFPs out there who have stumbled upon this information? How has it helped you? What has it made you realize about yourself? I feel it's really, really helping me, and that I feel that I am just truly coming into this and understanding this because I've pushed myself a little bit further and learned a little bit more about myself. And I'm much better now at self-reflecting and have stopped trying to be this persona of someone who I think I should be. I'm just maybe more accepting myself. So how has it helped you, fellow INFPs and others of you who are not INFPs? What are the struggles that you deal with? You know, I know for my type, what are the other struggles that you deal with? Are there any ESTJs out there? Like, what is your perspective? I would love to hear it. And how does it feel like to be in this world? What are your pain points? What makes you tick? What makes it feel hard to be in this world? Or what do you wish you could do? What you wish that you were? What you have accepted that you are? I would love to know. So please leave me a comment and definitely subscribe. Ring that notification bell, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.